What's up with the squad? The session favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies. Welcome back to Cess Talks Sports. Shout out to the OGs who've been rocking with us since day one, and big welcome to the new fam who just tapped in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you never miss a drop, and make sure to like, comment, and share this video so I know you pulled up. Now I'm diving deep, y'all, not just into wins and banners, but into belief, into what it takes to build a kingdom out of concrete, into not just dominance, but what happens when discipline meets destiny. This ain't about a Cinderella story. This is about concrete poured under pressure. This is about a dynasty that rose from silence. This is about how a black woman from Philly with fire in her chest walks into a quiet arena and decides this right here. This is where we change the game. She took a forgotten SEC program and turned it into the measuring stick for the entire sport. This is about Columbia. This is about South Carolina. This is about the standard. Let's go back to 2008 when nobody watched. South Carolina women's basketball wasn't quiet. It was damn near invisible. Not silent like respect, but silent like dismissal. There were no trophies, no headlines. We're talking basement of the SEC, barely getting mentioned on local radio, let alone national rankings. No banners, no buzz, just bodies in jerseys showing up and taking L's. They weren't just rebuilding, they were starting with ashes. Then she walked in, Michelle Staley, affectionately known around here as Coach Big Drip. Philly bred, hardwired for greatness, tougher than a $2 steak, you heard me? She didn't come to Columbia for comfort, she came for a challenge. She came to make bricks with no straw and still be the championship house of hoops. The resume already spoke volumes. 3-time Olympic gold, Hall of Fame, all-time point guard. But what hit different was her why. She didn't come to Columbia to pad her resume. She came to do the impossible, to pour concrete where folks left dust, to build dominance and disruption in the middle of doubt and disrespect. And she let it be known from day one. We're going to win it all. Not eventually, not hopefully, not if the stars align. We going to win it all, period. In that first squad, 10-18, empty seats, empty energy. But Dawn ain't blinked because she saw what nobody else could. A legacy growing underneath all that losing. And like they say, you plant it in the dark, then it grows in the light. This was the moment the foundation got poured, with pain, with patience, and with that promise that still echoes in the halls of colonial life. We gonna win it all. 2009, 2011, the grind before the glory. The years after Dawn's arrival weren't glamorous. They were foundational. South Carolina didn't suddenly flip the switch. They earned every inch. They went from 10-18 in 2008 to 14-14 in 2009 to 18-15 in 2010. It wasn't just about learning how to win. It was about unlearning how to lose. La'Keisha Sutton, Dawn's first real signature player, became the focal point. She was the heart, the hustle, and the hinge in that cultural turnaround. Ashley Bruner brought grit and toughness. Khadijah Sessions thought, though still a future piece, was in the building absorbing everything. These were the players who practiced without cameras, who traveled without expectations, who played in front of more echoes than fans. Sutton, Bruner, Sessions, they didn't come for glory. They came to build, to walk through the fire so somebody else could stand in the sun. That's foundation work. That's legacy labor. But that was the grind. That was the seed work. Dawn didn't flinch because she saw it coming. And real was no. When the roots run deep, storms don't shake you. This was the soil phase, and the culture was growing. 2012, 2014 started shifting the atmosphere. And the shift, it wasn't subtle. It was seismic. In 2011, 2012, South Carolina returned to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2003. Dawn led the Gamecocks to the Sweet 16, setting the tone. That wasn't luck. That was arrival. By 2013-14, it became undeniable. South Carolina finished 29-5 overall, 14-2 in SEC play, securing the program's first ever SEC regular season championship. That squad was led by Aliyah Welch, who became the embodiment of Dawn's culture, undersized, undervalued, and unshakable. Tiffany Mitchell became the star, and Aliyah dominated the paint. Khadijah Sessions brought voice and fire off the bench. And Dawn, she coached every game like it was March, because every rep mattered. In 2014, the Gamecocks earned their very first ever #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That run ended in the Sweet 16, but Columbia was now a problem, not a promise. Dawn had turned potential into presence. Respect wasn't requested, it was enforced. In 2015, she stayed home. That's all I have to say about that. The game changed when A'ja Wilson, the #1 recruit in the country, committed to South Carolina. A forward from Hopkins, South Carolina, 20 minutes from outside Columbia, Wilson became the ultimate statement. The best player in the country just stayed home. Dawn didn't have to sell the dream anymore. The dream was standing in her living room. A'ja's commitment brought instant gravity to the program. It validated every brick laid before her. It showed that legacy wasn't built, it was being handed down. With her arrival, South Carolina became national contenders overnight. But it wasn't just A'ja. Atlantic coach Tiffany Mitchell. Asia Dozier, Khadijah Sessions, the foundation held. Kayla Davis and Aliyah Gray, 2 5-star transfers from Georgia Tech and North Carolina, were waiting in the wings. This was the dawn of the domination. 2016 was close. South Carolina went 33-2, swept the SEC regular season tournament, and entered the NCAA tournament as the number 1 seed, but they were stunned in the Sweet 16. 2017, different story. They got their crowns now. Led by Asia Wilson, Aliyah Gray, and Kayla Davis, the Gamecocks reached their first Final Four. Then took it further, defeated Stanford in the national semifinal, and Mississippi State got that work in the national championship game. Dawn Staley became the second Black woman to win the D1 women's national title, and the first to do it at a public university. Asia Wilson became Final Four MVP. Aliyah Gray declared for the draft early and went number 4 overall. Kayla Davis followed at number 10. And Dawn, she walked off that court, a net around her neck, and a legacy that had just leveled up. After Asia, 2018-2019, the GOAT had graduated, but the machine kept moving. Ty Harris became the extension of Dawn on the court. Kiki Herbert-Harrigan became one of the most versatile forwards in the SEC. Grissett, Jackson, Saxton formed the nucleus of a roster with quiet strength. The Gamecocks didn't win the SEC that year, but they stayed competitive. And Dawn, she was already preparing for the arrival of another generational talent. She wasn't chasing a run. She was building a reign. 2020, the Aliyah era begins. Aliyah Boston made her presence felt immediately. Her first game in college, trip dub, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 10 blocks. 2019-20 South Carolina squad became the number 1 team in the country. Went 32-1, swept the SEC regular season and tournament, and had the most dominant defense in the nation. Zaya Cook, Bree Beal, La'Keisha Sutton, and Destiny Henderson rounded out a stacked young core. They were unquestioned title favorites until COVID canceled the tournament. They didn't get a chance to hang the banner, but everyone knew the truth. That was a national championship team. Reloaded, rebuilt, remembered. 2021, yes, 2020 got stolen. Dawn made sure the world remembered what was taken. South Carolina ran through the SEC again, 22-5 overall, 14-2 conference play, winning the SEC tournament. The squad, now fully led by the 2019 class, the freshies, Aliyah Boston, Zaya Cook, Bree Beal, Victoria Saxton, Letitia Amir, and Destiny Henderson. They bulldozed through the NCAA tournament. Boston dominated. Cook scored at will. The defense was hell. They reached the Final Four, set to face Stanford, 1 rebound, 1 putback, 1 second. That was all that separated them from a championship shot. Boston missed a layup at the buzzer, and they fell 66-65. Boston cried. The team stood in silence. And Dawn, she didn't console with cliches. She told the truth. She told her team to remember that pain, bottle it up, build from it. She knew the dynasty was still loading, and vengeance was on the clock. 2022, the crown restored. They heard the whispers. Boston ain't clutch. Dawn can't get back. South Carolina peaked. So the squad did what champions do. They silenced the noise with results. South Carolina opened the season number 1 and stayed there. Beat UConn, swept the SEC, won National Defensive Player of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, SEC Tournament, and the regular season crown. Again, but this time, finished the job. South Carolina stormed through the tournament and knocked off UConn in the title game. Nasty work, 64-49. Aliyah Boston was named Final Four MVP, National Player of the Year, and Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Destiny Henderson dropped 26 in the title game, earning legend status. Dawn stood at center court, crowned again. This time she wore a Louis Vuitton Letterman jacket stitched with the names of Black women coaches who never got this shot. She wasn't just coaching, she was shifting history. In 2023, let me tell y'all something. Pressure is privilege. By now, they weren't underdogs. They were the standard, unbeaten, unbothered. 36-0 heading into the Final Four. Boston, Cook, Beal, Saxton, the senior court. But in the national semifinal, Iowa pulled off the upset. Boston played their last game. Cook and Beal walked off. It was over, or so they thought. The world questioned the dynasty. ESPN hyped up new stars. People said South Carolina was done, but they forgot who built this, and they didn't know what was coming next. In 2024, the sophomore storm. People thought 2024 would be a rebuild. Dawn turned it into a re-up. In came Malaysia Fu Wiley, the flashiest freshman in America. Ashlyn Watkins, the dunk master with bouncing defense. Kamilla Cardoso, 6'7" Brazilian wall in the paint. Tina Pau, the transfer sniper from Oregon. And Raven Johnson, the culture, Big Bird, now the starting PG and the heartbeat of the team. South Carolina went undefeated again, 38-0. SEC champs, tournament champs, national champs. Lay lit up March, and Tessa Johnson closed the show. Cardoso dominated the Final Four. Dawn coached circles around the competition again. It was the most complete team she ever coached. They didn't just win, they redefined dominance. And that 2024 title, that one felt different because nobody saw it coming. Not even Dawn. Built to last. You thought they were done? 2025 still unfolding, but the next chapter already got smoke on every page. Joyce Edwards has been here before now. Homegrown monster out of Campbell, South Carolina, who said, I'm not gonna leave home when I can just win here. Raven Johnson, wiser, stronger, louder, a floor general with war stories and gold standards under the belt. Medina Okai, 6'6", glass cleaning, shot smacking, post dominating force straight out of Kenya, who ain't fly halfway across the world to play cute. And she's leaving Mississippi State to body the SEC. Chloe Kitts, Maddie McDaniel, Adele Tock, Tessa Johnson, Ashton Watkins when she's back. And don't sleep on Isla McDowell, Agat McKira, Tanaya Latson joining the mix. This ain't a rebuild, it's a re-up with hollow tips. Because under Dawn, listen, freshmen get baptized by fire and come out bulletproof. By the time March hits, they're not just ready, they dangerous. They grind in the offense, handle exhibitions, keep the SEC honest, and then they want to smoke with anybody in the nation. And let's keep it real. Ain't nobody trying to see South Carolina in March. Dawn Staley ain't just a winner. She's not just a coach. She's an architect, a disruptor, a mentor, a movement. She connects a pipeline of Black women coaches, hiring, mentoring, and protecting them. She pushed for equal pay, mental health awareness, transparency, and leadership, and made sure her players left with degrees, dignity, and options. She helped Kamilla Cardoso build a platform, nurtured Aliyah Boston, developed Raymond Johnson into a generational point guard. She taught girls from Hopkins, South Carolina to Nairobi, Kenya, that they were worthy of. Dawn didn't just change the game. She raised the floor for everybody coming behind her. Only 2 number 1 picks, and that's the flex. Let's talk about it. People love to act like South Carolina just stacks top picks, but here's the truth. Only 2 South Carolina players have gone number 1 in the WNBA draft. Asia Wilson, Aliyah Boston. That's it. You know what that means? Dawn Staley ain't just coaching talent. She's developing legacy. Because while other schools chase hype, South Carolina builds pros, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Her players don't need to be the flashiest. They come in as girls and leave as women, champions, grown, respected. You don't need 10 number 1s when you build a standard. And the standard lives here. This ain't just about banners. It's about blueprint. Dawn built something that outlives a box score. She flipped a forgotten program into a force. She turned doubters into believers. She made South Carolina the place where legends come from, where girls turn into greatness, where you don't just play the game, you change it. From La'Keisha Sutton to Raven Johnson, from Asia to Aliyah, from silence to supremacy. The standard don't shake, the standard don't fold, the standard got a name, and it's South Carolina. All right, fam, make sure you drop a comment with your thoughts on the standard, Dawn Staley, and the rise of a dynasty. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share this video with someone who loves the game. Catch y'all next time on Cess Talks Sports, where we always bring you the latest on rising stars and legends in the making. Keep hooping, stay tuned, talk soon, y'all. I'm out.